Welcome back, Boujee True Crimers, and welcome if you're new to Evil Strikes, a true crime series delivered to you in commentary style or a makeup tutorial. Join the investigation by finding your very first clue, the subscribe button, and once you've found it, tap it and join us in discussion on today's case. So, if you haven't heard already, yesterday, Gerardo Zuniga went on live via live stream on YouTube, and he released some photos regarding the crime scene of Shanquella Robinson. Now, if you're just joining the case and you don't really know who Gerardo is, or you know some details but not a lot, I have a whole playlist on Shanquella's case starting from the beginning. So feel free to click the link. I will link it for you in the description box or the comment section, and you can watch all the videos from the beginning and eventually make your way back here. Now, if you don't feel like doing that, I'll give you a very brief rundown on who Gerardo is. So, Gerardo is basically the only investigative reporter out of Mexico who is providing details about this case from Mexico's end. And as most of us know, we have been fighting for answers as to what happened to Shanquella, why did this happen to Shanquella, and when will the killers be brought to justice. Unfortunately, a lot of our questions cannot be answered from Mexican authorities because of the new laws set in place, which prohibits anyone speaking about an active ongoing murder case. So this is where Gerardo comes in as someone who has connections with those involved in the case. He's able to provide details that they themselves legally cannot speak about. And unfortunately, he also cannot verify those sources for said reasons. But today we do have some evidence in the form of photos that he posted during the live stream. And these photos were taken on the day of Shanquella's death. So some of the photos include different angles of the living room in comparison to where the body was found the day that the maid came into their room. So as we saw in the initial video where the beatdown happened between Dejanay and Shanquella, that happened in Shanquella's room, right? She was naked for one, and two, she was in the room. So these are details that a lot of us already know, right? Because a lot of us heard that she was found with clothes. Some people said she was found in the bathroom. Some people said she was found in the living room. These photos confirm that she was found in the living room. And specifically, she had on clothing. And as we all saw in the beatdown of Shanquella, she was not clothed because she sleeps naked. And of course, that does raise questions such as how would she have been able to get herself dressed and moved into another room if reports are stating that she would have passed away in a maximum of 15 minutes of sustaining those injuries. There's only one clear answer. And that's some, if not all, of Cabo 6 participated in altering the crime scene. And speaking of questions, about 2-3 weeks ago, a legal analyst had reached out and stated that he would be more than willing to answer questions that people have regarding Shanquella Robinson's case. And we could do like a interview style type of setup. So I wanted to find out from you guys if there were any questions that you have, to leave them down in the comments section. And from there, I will be able to get those questions asked to the legal analyst in a future video. But of course, I will only do it if you guys want the interview, because there's no point in doing it if I don't have any questions. So again, any questions y'all have about this case at all, leave them in the comment section, and then I'll figure out how to get that interview set up with him in the future. Now, going back to Gerardo and the photos. So these photos are basically implemented to show that Shanquella actually was not found in a bathroom. She was not found naked. She was in fact found clothed and in the living room, which means there's further proof that additional crimes happened on top of her murder. Now, if I remember correctly from the live stream, Gerardo did mention that he was discussing two specific crimes that the Cabo 6 will be going down for. One of them being femicide, of course, which we already know. And the other one was going to be with tampering with evidence, or tampering a crime scene or something to that extent. So I'm actually going to put a screenshot of what those crimes were and the penalties of said crimes. Also, keep in mind that Gerardo does not speak English, so he always has an interpreter whenever he's coming on live or doing an interview, anything like that. And also, the connection was a little wonky, so you're more than welcome to pause and just read the screen if the interruption bothers you.
Alteración del lugar, de los hechos o del hallazgo. Dice, a quien dolosamente altere, modifique, obstruye, cambie, oculte, transforme, mueva de cualquier manera los indicios, objetos, huellas, rastros, señalamientos, fragmentos o cadáveres, producto de la comisión de un delito, que se encuentren en el lugar en que se hubiera perpetrado o se hubiera llevado a cabo su hallazgo.
The Penal Code of the State of Baja California Sur classifies this conduct as a crime. Article 306, alteration of the scene of the crime or of the finding, says that whom willingly alters, modifies, obstructs, changes, hides, transforms, or moves in any way the indicators, objects, traces, signs, fragments, or corpse, product of the commission of a crime, which are found in the place where it has been perpetrated or has carried out its discovery.
Hacer esto en México tiene una penalidad de 2 a 6 años de prisión. Yo no lo digo, lo dice el Código Penal de Baja California Sur.
Doing this in Mexico has a penalty of 2 to 6 years in prison. I'm not saying this. The Penal Code of Baja California Sur says it.
So there you have it. 2 to 6 years for tampering with the body is what Cabo 6 is looking at facing. And I sincerely hope they are found guilty, all 6 of them, because at the end of the day, they left Mexico. They came to America, kept the lips zipped. So I have no mercy for any of them. And on top of that, there's no way to even know what role each one of them may or may not have played, right? Because we do know it took a minimum of 2 people to move Shanquella's body from her bedroom to the living room. It would have taken another 2 people or even 3 to get her dressed, because biker shorts, we know, are not easy to put on. So that probably would have taken 2 people to get those 1 pair of shorts on her body, plus the t-shirt. Like, there's just too many components to where I would be very surprised if all 6 of them did not participate in one way or another. And I'm pretty sure within the Cabo 6, some have joined alliances to minimize their involvement in the case or in the crime, etc., etc. So at this point, if one is guilty, they're all guilty. There have just been so many crimes that have happened within this one case. We have the femicide, we have the altering of the crime scene, we have withholding information about the murder, we have denying medical assistance from one civilian to another. And we don't know judicial system of Mexico like that to know if they would even consider the last 1 or last 2 to be a crime, an offensible crime, where they could possibly face time. So if any of you are Mexican or have lived in Mexico before and are familiar with Mexican law, maybe you can enlighten us. And then there was the talk of bribery, because how else would Cabo 6 have been able to leave the country in the middle of an open investigation of murder on one of your own friends? So I'm not sure if that has been proven to be facts or not, but that has been one story that has been circulating almost since the day this story broke out. So if anyone has any insight on that, again, leave it in the comments section. But those are just some of the crimes I can think of off the top of my head. If y'all know of any other ones that you feel may have occurred in this case, drop them down in the comment section. So circling back to the question I had earlier about whether they would charge for someone withholding information about the murder, and the answer is yes. So I thought they had spoken about femicide for whatever reason, but they call it crime of concealment in Mexico. Now, I muted this part because he was kind of having like a sidebar and the lady was reading and it was just sounding all over the place. And then they had the wrong crime on the screen and everything. So you could just pause to read what this charge entails. But overall, they would be facing 6 months to 3 years in prison if found guilty for that particular crime. So from the questions that I mentioned earlier, the only other two left would be, are there charges for denying medical assistance to Shanquella? And then the other one is, did they in fact participate in bribery? And if so, what type of charges come with that if it can be proven? Now, towards the end of the live stream, Gerardo opened the chat for questions. So his moderator was going through questions and a lot of people had a lot of questions. But one question that was asked several times and even asked by me was, is Dejanay in fact arrested, apprehended, in custody, anything along those lines? And initially it appeared as though they were brushing the question off and answering everything but that one. And then eventually they did get around to addressing it, in which they stated that it would be addressed in the future, like maybe in the next video, perhaps. I'm not sure, but I guess, they are aware that a lot of people are wondering where that article came from and why there hasn't been any mention of anything about that since. So maybe there's something he does know that we are not able to know about just yet, and he cannot confirm until the time is right. But that just circles back to what I said before, which is maybe he should have kept that information to himself until the timing was a little bit better, where something or someone could have corroborated the report once it came out. Because like I said, in previous reportings that he's done, eventually there has always been something to substantiate what he has been stating. But unfortunately, because the case is still open, no one is saying anything about anything. And so he's just left out here to look like a crazy person. And so I think he made the mistake of announcing that a little too prematurely, if it is in fact true. So I guess only time will tell what holds water here. But that is it as far as the video goes. If you guys want to see the full live stream, you're more than welcome to visit Gerardo's channel, which I'll also link somewhere either in the comments or description box. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and I will see you all in the next episode of Evil Strikes. Happy New Year to you guys. In case this is my last video, I'm not sure if I'll be able to finish the other one I'm working on beforehand. So if not, Happy New Year. I wish you guys much success, love, and blessings in 2023 and beyond.